Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with Orville Ketchum himself, actor Peter Spellis. And talk about a great guy. He was a lot of fun to talk about, just his connections with the B movies, growing up in New York City, improv and comedy background, and just his love for B movies. But before we get into what this movie is, just the most unique being, I think, that we covered Terror Tunes and all these other ones, but Sorority House Massacre II just has this element to it that's kind of like movie magic. But before I get into it, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good, Doug. Yeah, how are you doing?
Man, I'm pretty good. We talked about before we started the episode. I was talking about I saw this. I swear I saw this younger, but I couldn't have seen it, the full thing, if it was on TV on Joe Bob Briggs' Drive-In, because obviously we'll get into, we see a lot of the boobs in this movie. More than, I think, if you took all the sequels that we covered, before this, I don't think it comes close, really.
No, definitely does not come close. I've never seen a movie like this either, and I keep saying that on each movie we see. But this is, what do they consider, like the Splatterhouse cleavage? I forget the box cover was like cleavage and cleavers or something like that. It was something like ridiculous. Like this is. Like it was such a weird movie, but it's a movie where they knew how just dumb it was and they had fun with it. That's my take on it.
No, I totally agree. I actually like these kind of movies, and we have a few of them in a row coming up that I think sort of get it. And again, this movie, I laughed. There were some really funny lines throughout this movie. Not all the time. It wasn't like it was a comedy knockdown like an Airplane 2 or Scary Movie 4,
No, it definitely had its moments. I'll tell you though, I don't see this movie being made today. The 80s. I say the 80s, but this took place. It was made in 1990, correct?
Yeah, well, I don't know when it was made, but yeah,
okay. Because it looks like it was made in 1980. It had the old look to it, but they don't make movies like this anymore. And I understand why, but for the time, literally, like you said, the tons of boobs and just lingerie throughout the whole movie, it's necessary, but not necessary, it was amazing. It was just such a bizarre movie. It was fun to watch.
No, definitely. So let's get right into it. So New Horizons home video, which is Roger Corman, man. Unbelievable. But we get a quick title, nothing much before the title, but it makes sense because this movie has nothing to do with Sorority House Massacre, the first one. It was actually going to be called Nighty Nightmares. Or it's going to be, it's called Jim Wynorski's House of Babes. That was going to be one of them. And then 90 Nightmares. And they were like, you know what? Let's just call it Sorority House Massacre 2.
And so there's nobody from the first movie in this movie.
No. And some of the archive footage, the flashbacks that we'll get into later, are from Slumber House Massacre.
It's funny. I had to look that up because I'm looking like, all right, so this must be like scenes from the first movie. And when I looked it up and I read the article, I was amazed that they're using clips from another movie. And the movie starts off with a flashback, right? The girl in the corner.
Yes.
Okay. But there's a flashback in the flashback.
There is a flashback.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was watching the same thing. Okay.
It's like a flashback for us, but it's not for her. And it's funny, when that was happening, I thought the same thing. Like she was obviously it's us flashing back, but it wasn't her, but just her saying, "You gotta remember." And how did she come to this school in this small town, like from Australia?
What was her accent? I couldn't pick where she was from.
I was thinking like Australia or New Zealand, something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, I don't know if it was Irish, English. I mean, like, it was just a weird accent, but like it did not fit with the rest of the girls. And
What do you
I have
mean?
to be
A
honest.
girl with
Now,
that accent can't be called Linda? Is Linda not an Australian name?
wait, these girls had names?
Oh, I have them all down. Yeah. All they basically when Jim Wynorski, who we're actually going to be interviewing next week for Munchie Strikes Back, he wrote and directed this. And I'm telling you, all the names of this are probably the most popular names of 1990. It's like Linda, Jessica, Chrissy.
I might have been distracted because I didn't know they had names.
Well, I always remember Janey. I don't know why. I love.
No, you know what? I liked her too. That was
okay.
She was my favorite too. Didn't last long. Yeah, but she didn't last long.
Well, I called her first, man.
Okay, all right, that's fine. No, now I was going to say. So I went to college. I'm in a fraternity. I was friends with a lot of sororities, and I never seen a sorority like this. This was. I mean, like I don't know if sororities in the '80s were different, but I mean, we got to get into that. I have so many questions.
I know we will definitely get into that. So then like we talked about, you got to remember, and then we get like that kind of like flashback dream sequence, and then we just cut away to this house, just like this house for sale. You see it like boarded up, and then 2 cars pull up, and like we mentioned, 5 just so hot. Do 5 hot people hang out like that? Do they not let any other women in? Did they like?
Well, I always thought there was a rule that usually, like in a group of like 5 girls, there's always like one that's ugly.
I thought so.
She has to be like the voice of reason.
I think that was in the Constitution. I think Jefferson.
That's what I thought, but not in this movie. So
yeah, and then it almost took me a second to realize that the girl saying "you got to remember," because again, I read about the archive footage from Slumber House Massacre, so I was like, oh, maybe that's from it for some reason. But when I was like, oh, that's that girl, so okay.
I had no idea. I honestly, I even think I forgot about that scene already. By the time these girls came out of the car, I forgot how it started.
So with this movie, do you know there's somebody in this movie? Well, besides Peter Spellis, who has like a small role in Munchie, that was in another movie that we covered.
You're not going to say Samurai Cop, are you?
Yeah.
That I knew. That's
amazing, right?
That's the only thing I know about this movie. And I don't remember why. I probably looked up the girls that were in the movie and seeing what else they were in, and I saw. So yeah.
Yeah, because Melissa Moore was in the original Samurai Cop, and then she has that really weird. Remember when basically it's his kid in Samurai Cop 2? How old is she?
Again, another movie that I've never seen anything like.
So yeah, this guy Eddie, who's barely in the movie, that is like somehow dating again. Are all these women college age? I don't think so. But
yeah, but wait, you talking about the guy that drove up with them?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy looked like he could be our father. First of all.
Oh, I know.
And first, I was thinking like maybe he just picked them up because like I wasn't sure if like they knew him, but that was a very uncomfortable kiss they did. It was like a long, like it was just a weird kiss.
That was weird, and like obviously Melissa Moore's very hot. And so the best is sometimes like obviously people curse, but the way he delivered that line, I think he said, "You sure you don't want to help me with it? Are you sure you don't want me to help you with that shit?" Just like, wait, this guy's trying to be nice, trying to get her to hang out that night, and he's like, "Yeah, I can come and help you with that shit." I'm like, what?
But see, that's what makes me think like he doesn't even know them. Like they were hitchhiking or something, because like they didn't act like they were like together. It was like a weird relationship there.
No, it was awkward, and then later we find out obviously they're dating. But what's funny about it is, yeah, it looked that awkward. Again, they shot this movie in 7 days. They probably met a day before that. And they're like, all right, now you got to kiss in 5 minutes. So it definitely was a little awkward, but they were like, yeah, they're dating. I'm like, they're dating? Like,
yeah.
Oh, I wish we had something like you and Eddie have. You're so lucky. It's like, that guy lucky?
That's lucky.
Oh my God. But then we see the peeper. We see somebody peeping from across the street, breathing really heavy and just watching her. And
you know what? He breathes heavy a lot in this movie. I'm concerned about him a little bit.
I'm concerned for his health. And then what we get to when we first meet him, it's unreal. But isn't this house like that's what's funny about this movie? This house is perfect for a horror movie. No electricity, the phone's out, but they have the essentials: peanut butter, marshmallows, beer.
I know. I wrote that down. So yeah. So first of all, I can't imagine these 5 girls. None of them, except for one, knows what the house looks like, and they're gonna move in with just a sleeping bag. All they had was a sleeping bag and a bag. And I wrote this down. She goes, peanut butter, crackers, and popcorn. She goes, we have all the essentials we need, or something like that. And it's peanut butter, popcorn, and crackers. And don't forget that the electrician, the phone guy, the electrician, and I forget what the other one was. They're coming at 6 o'clock. The mover, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
All 3 of them are coming 6 a.m. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I can barely get them come at like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't think 6 a.m. anyone's working. Like, that was such a bizarre time to say.
And it's usually like a 17-hour window, so you don't make any plans. They're like, we'll be there between 6 a.m. and, I don't know, Christmas.
But I mean, I can understand maybe the movers if they're moving from like another state and that's the time they're arriving. But I'm assuming they're all in the same state, so it's like they're probably not moving that far.
Yes.
But 6 a.m. for an electrician?
No, that's true. So let's talk about that. So they obviously go to the school before, right? Because it's not like they would all like get together and be like, hey, we're gonna go there. Because the exposition in the beginning, she goes, hey, don't worry. Because they're like, can we afford this? I'm like, anybody can afford that place is total shithole. But she's
5
like,
years. 5 years. So it's been abandoned for 5 years.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, we find out like why.
Yeah.
But the thing that's crazy about it, she's like, yeah, we can afford it. The money from the local chapter, the university, like all this stuff. And I'm just like, so don't they, where are they living before this? That they have to move in and sleep on the floor, like you said, sleeping bags. And it's not even clean inside.
And why is there only 5 girls? Like, I mean, sorority, usually you're getting, you would have a lot more girls. This is 5 girls. Like, are they starting their own, sorority?
Or are they like the 5 important, isn't there like 5 important ones in like a frat?
Well, I mean, there's leadership roles, but at the same time, though, I mean, if you're all going to live there, then they can afford a better house. Because if you're going to have 20 girls live in the house, you're all going to be paying.
God, can you imagine there are 20 girls in this movie?
Well,
I have to watch it twice.
Well, let me go ahead. I don't want to say anything to ruin the movie. Go ahead.
So, and in this movie, so we talked about like these are the sets from like a different movie, and it's from Slumber Party Massacre II. I don't know. Do you ever see Rock and Roll High School Forever with Corey Feldman? It came out like I think a year or two before this. Like, but anyway, he's like a rocker in high school. His band actually plays the main.
Was Corey Haim in there too?
He was not in there.
Oh, okay.
He was probably like, "Hey, this is me." But here's the story about this movie. So Roger Corman and his wife Julie were going to Europe. Jim Wynorski heard about these sets that are getting destroyed in a few weeks. So he went to Julie behind Roger's back. He said, I want to make a horror movie before they get dismantled. I'll do it in 7 days. So she put a hold on it without telling her husband. He didn't even know until they got back from Europe that a movie was filmed and they funded this movie.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Another cool thing, across the street, I guess it's where later in the movie we see Orville staring at the house. That on that side of the street, I don't know if it's the one he's standing in front of. It's the house from People Under the Stairs.
Really?
It's in that same neighborhood, yeah.
I wonder if so they filmed this after the other movie, correct? So I wonder like the way it was left. I wonder if that's how they went in, like the crooked picture on the wall. Like I wonder like they like literally like they moved in like the next day and whatever was there, like they made it look like it was an abandoned, but it's really how it was left.
Yeah, they probably left all. Yeah, there's probably left trash. It was probably sitting there dirty. They're probably like, this is perfect for a 5-year abandoned house.
And you know what? It would also make sense because it is a 5-year abandoned house. The upstairs is completely empty, but the basement is stocked with stuff. Like the basement is so full of like props. So I wonder if it's the props left from the other movie that were just left in the basement.
Yes, I'm sure.
That's awesome.
Well, I think the basement was from the house and the basement, but I think the upstairs was from uh, the Rock and Roll High School Forever movie.
Oh, they have a bear trap in Rock and Roll Forever?
Yeah, Corey Elvin, he falls in it. It totally ruins the movie. So then, with this is what we were talking about before. So again, they have to be going to the school, right? So Janey does this whole reveal when they're standing there, and she goes, "Oh, there was a family here that was murdered 5 years ago. That's how we got this deal." And I'm just like, "Wait, they go here? Wouldn't they know about this?"
They again, but this is a trope we see in every single movie. Somehow, a big thing happens in a town, yet no one knows about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how. I guess you couldn't do it, I guess. Because no matter what, like you said, it's not like you would go to a school, start a sorority, and like enroll and do all that. So I wonder if there's any workaround. I guess you just have to like put it in there and hope nobody catches that.
Well, also, we don't know what year they are, right? I mean, they could be sophomores, so maybe maybe they're sophomores. I mean, obviously they're not freshmen because they're already in a sorority, but maybe they're sophomores. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going.
I bet you they stayed back a lot. I'm sure they got a lot of double D's. Whew. Had to come out. That's totally a total dad joke.
And it starts.
So then again, we talked about like this house, perfect for a horror movie. No electricity, no phone lines, no anything. Oh, storm happening. I love the storm footage. When they showed the lightning bolt, it was the same one.
The same exact one. It looked like it could have been like in like Frankenstein. Like when it just looked like that cartoony, electricity, but it was the same exact lightning bolt every single time.
Yeah, and so then this is where it begins. So Janey they go, "Hey Janey, do you think it's raining?" And she's like, "I don't know, let me check." And then she opens the window. It's Orville Ketchum, Peter Spells himself, just staring.
There are multiple times where if this was real life, they should have left the house a long time ago. And somehow they just keep staying there, one thing after another. Like, I mean, again, if I entered a house that had a bunch of mice, I'm out of there. Just mice. Yeah. Here they have a creepy guy that's staring, and that's only the start of their troubles. And they're still hanging out there. Like, I don't understand. And I would think now you get 5 attractive women here that are going to college. They're obviously into themselves and glamour and all that. I don't think they're staying in a house like this until it's like fixed up. No, I
bet if some guy was like, "Hey, you want to come back to my place?" and it looked like that, they would not sleep over.
Not at all. So there's that. That's an issue right there.
No, 100%.
But they all had sleeping bags.
They did all have sleeping bags. So you said like if there was mice, you'd leave. How about even after Janey tells that thing like, "Hey," and then because afterwards she even says like, "Oh, whatever, guys," But then when Orville, this creepy neighbor, staring through the window, then when he gives like, "Hey, I'm the one who found the bodies here. I came here. There was still blood everywhere." And then we get the flashback sequence, which you'll love this. The only reason they added it was to add runtime to the movie. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome. But it makes sense because I don't know what else they could have done. So I mean that makes sense.
Wasn't that creepy like that? I think that was actually from the first Slumber Party Massacre. I think it
was the guy with the drill.
Yeah.
No,
I think
that was from one. Right. I guess that was from one of the. But that if that was like a real footage from the horror movie, that looked way creepier than this movie. That was a horror movie. Like that looked like a real.
That guy playing dead under a sleeping bag and his wife picking it up, and he's like, stabs her jaw, and then he goes and kills her too. And then the whole time while we're watching it, it's like ESPN football, getting highlights. He's breaking down all the kills while they're happening. It's almost like Orville is in the room with the TV on, breaking it down with X's and O's because he's like, then he killed the 2 daughters. And I'm like, oh my God.
Was that what he was watching? When he was watching TV?
Well, he could barely watch anything.
We'll get to that part. And that's the part where it was a flashback and a flashback. So in her flashback of telling the story of what happened, she's talking about a flashback, or he's talking about a flashback. So it's someone else's flashback in her flashback. How does that work? What is it, like Inception?
And then, so Janey, she's like, I guess she'd be like she's the leader of the pack. I would say Janey.
Which one's that? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Black hair.
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
No, I'd say she's the leader, because she takes the lead and she goes to Orville. She's like, well, ladies, she introduced all the girls by name, and then he remembers them because he says them later, which is really creepy. But when he puts his hand in his pants and says, well, you ladies, you're going to be needing this, and he fishes in his crotch, like, some guy like...
what he said, you're going to need this. What did he say? What was the exact line?
Ladies, you're going to be needing this.
Yes. Okay.
And they like turn a little bit, and then he pulls out a key. Oh my God. And just
how long do you think that key was there? Do you think like before he came across, like, do you think it's always there? Or do you think like, oh, you know what? The girls are moving in. Let me grab my key now and put it down there. Or do you think it just sits there the whole time?
Well, the first one is what I think it is, because it's probably covered and disgusting. And Janey says, oh, guys, it's still warm. But the second one's even funnier if he's like, oh, let me go over to the old hockey center place. And he's like, oh, crap, the key. And he comically pulls his pants out and then drops it.
Well, I think it'd be funny if he goes, you know, you need this. And he pulls out like a sandwich. He goes, no, wait, hold on. And he goes back in there and pulls something else out until he gets the key.
Yes. And just like, again, to show like that they're a sorority and like a bunch of friends, like there's some lines that are like great in it, but they're like, can you say psycho? And they're like, I thought you could. And all the girls at the same time.
Their relationship is so weird. Like, is it like a lesbian sorority?
I don't know. Or I'm not a girl, so I don't know if some
or, I mean, you always hear about like slumber parties. They always have pillow fights and that kind of stuff. I mean, we know according to Grizzly, they have grab ass in the woods when men are having a sleepover. So maybe this is what women do.
Yeah, well, one can dream, right? And then this is the next part. So Orville, the first thing he does after he goes, like, maybe in his mind, he's like, man, I'm going to get these chicks. I'm going to impress these ladies. He's sitting down watching that TV, which is like, how old is that TV?
Old TV, and it's like when you're trying to find that like the movie in between channels and you're flipping back and forth. That's what the screen looked like. Like there wasn't a full screen, so I couldn't understand what he was watching. It was weird.
It looked like 1993 Doug looking for the Spice Channel. Oh wow! And you see the nipple would be like floating around on the screen.
But he was sitting there watching it like he understands everything he's watching. Like like he's watching Platoon. Like he was sitting there, like totally watching, and he's a bizarre character.
He's seen that show before. And how about this? So then when he gets up, because he's like thinking about the house across the street. How about when he goes into that drawer? Again, I think it's funny. I think it's a purposely put in joke. He pulls out 5 perfect newspapers from 5 years ago.
And they're all about the murders, except for the last one.
Oh, what did that say?
Elvis lives.
Yes. Oh, and then that's even funnier because of the next scene.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
But I mean, again, I don't know if they were purposely trying to make this like funny horror movie. Oh, they are. So
Jim, I have it somewhere, but his quote, he goes, I needed to make it in 7 days. I wrote it in 4, cast it in 2, and started filming right away. But he said, I wanted to make sure there was a lot of boobs, blood, and I wanted to throw out as many jokes as I could, like comedy. And dude, I think that's so funny. I didn't even notice that last one. I was probably right. Yeah. The first thing I noticed was like, these are like perfect newspapers from 5 years ago. No dust. They were sitting there.
Well, I mean, considering the house is 5 years old and is like no cobwebs or dust either in the house.
No, this is Orville's house. I'm talking about.
I know that, but I mean, even the other house, it's pretty clean. And
It is.
there's no electricity, but it's pretty bright in there. I know they have candles all over the place, but it's a pretty bright house.
Let's talk about that. What is this, like a Meatloaf video? Or Belinda Carlisle? What the heck song was that? In the video, there was a million candles in the
candles and a Total Eclipse of the Heart. Was that
yes,
that? Yeah. And there's a lot of big flashlights. Like, did they bring them themselves, or they just happen to be there?
We heard about this one that uses like a car battery.
But all the flashlights look like that.
No, I know.
That's so funny. Well, they did walk in with a sleeping bag and one small bag each. So maybe the small bag had the big flashlight in there.
I would hope so. And there's stale beer and their tequila.
Crackers, popcorn, and
So then what they're doing, the next scene, they go into the basement, which I don't know why you do. During a storm. I don't know. But anyway, so they go into the basement with the crotch key. And I love that they just start like, this is when they're like looking around, and like right away they find a Ouija board and a bloody doll. Oh my God.
Again, you're out of the house. I mean, so this is like, clue number 2 that you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, creepy neighbor. Yeah, bloody doll.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Yeah. And then again, so do girls do this as a sleepover? So if any ladies are listening, at Sequels Only on all social media, let us know if you all, after, they get into a room and they go, ladies, let's get changed and meet back down here in a few minutes. Like, wait, is it? And Janey tells them that she is like the conductor of this band.
Well, get changed means put on underwear and bra. Some of them are, and these are hot girls, but they're definitely wearing granny panties. So
I think that was the 80s style. Remember, they were like always like that.
I guess. I mean, I don't in the 80s I was a little young, so I didn't see too many underwear. But that, and did they shower also? Is this a shower scene too?
Well, we're gonna get to that, and we're almost there.
Okay, all right.
I'm almost there. No, then we cut to the 2 cops in the pouring rain.
Well, okay, wait. Before, do the cops have I don't understand the purpose of this movie. Like, besides filler.
You mean this part in the movie? I guess. So we'll there's more things that make no sense about them, but this guy has an inkling. I guess we can talk about it now. It doesn't spoil it. He has this inkling this whole movie. It seems like he's had this inkling for 5 years that old man Hockstetter, who killed his family in this house 5 years ago, didn't do it. And maybe it was the neighbor, Orville Ketchum. He always had a feeling about it. Why did I go to the house? And why is he just having this feeling now? And who called him to say that?
That's my question. So, like, someone told him, unless it was the neighbor that called him. The creepy neighbor.
Or I was thinking of this, and again, why would the same real estate person be in charge of selling the house? Do you think he went to the real estate agent 5 years ago? He's like, hey, this house is on the market. What it sells? Give me a ring. Sure, officer.
Well, I mean, we do find out that the phone does work later on. So maybe the phone is maybe just that one phone is not working, but the other one's doing one of the other girls called.
Maybe.
It just made it just, again, I feel like the whole, every time they went back to the cops, it was such filler. Like,
whoa. Well, the other time we see them, I laughed so hard.
Oh, well, what? Who was there when you were laughing?
Yeah. So I do like his name, Block, maybe like Blockhead, because he is kind of dumb. I think that detective's like really, I don't know.
Well, wasn't Blockhead a cartoon name of a character?
That's
Blockhead.
Gumby.
Oh,
Gumby and Pokey, yeah.
Yeah.
So the girl in the car actually was, she's in Munchie. She was the teacher in Munchie, Tony Naples. For some reason, in this movie, she goes by a different name. But her and Jim actually did.
Well, I mean, maybe she doesn't want to be associated with this movie.
Oh, and she puts her name on Munchie?
Well, I mean, this movie, again, the women are just, in a way, based on what's going on today, kind of in a disgraceful way. I mean, these women are, forced to walk around in underwear and like, so maybe she doesn't want to be attached to it.
Well, she's in a movie called Dinosaur Island, and her name is Tony Naples in that. And she's scantily dressed throughout that entire movie. So.
So she's a hypocrite.
And later at the strip club, she has a distaste for that.
Oh.
So then here it is. We cut to it. This is like we hit our boob quota for this whole podcast. Like in this whole like.
Well, I would say
5 minutes.
In all the movies we saw, and that had boobs, the boobs were like very quick
and accidental. They were like
accident. Right. There was nothing. This one, every boob shot is a long boob shot, and like it's almost like they each had to take turns showing their boobs, like in different ways. And this is the start of it. Because once you saw one, it was like a domino effect.
No, I know that's what was funny. It was just like boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so
wait, boo, 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 boo,
boo, boo, boo, boo. No, I was trying to think of like because Friday Night 2 was like kind of like an accidental, like that girl walked in the room. But I don't think do we do any movies that it was like purposeful, like.
I mean, it might have. I mean, we talked about it a lot because the '80s rules. So I mean, it had to. I mean, I don't remember. Again, nothing that really stood out.
Friday the 13th, both of them, they were like kind of like side, like a little bit. This was like.
No, this was starting off with this lower leg, working their way up the whole body. I mean, and showering with no curtain at all.
I was thinking maybe they just like the house again. If it's in that much of a disarray. No electricity. You can't have a shower curtain, right?
Okay. Not only that, so if the house hasn't been used in 5 years and there's no electricity, no phone, why is the water running? Who's paying for that? So I mean, she did say it was cold, but
there's no electricity.
There's no electricity. Okay, yeah. But how's the water running?
Well, the water could still run.
Who's paying for the bill?
I don't know. Hochstetter. Well, this is one part I understand that a mistake needed to be made in the writing to make sure this scene could happen.
Well, without the scene, the rest of it doesn't happen. So she had to be the first one. And the boobs right afterwards were such a ridiculous way to show them.
So we'll get into them. And I think, I know what you're talking about. So we'll talk about that because it's actually flash forward, kind of mind blowing, like how little subtle the scene. It like plays out like the whole movie. And when I was watching today, I'm like, holy crap. So then we cut to it's Kimberly's in the shower and Jessica comes in and spooks her, Melissa Moore. And the girl goes, I thought you were. She's like, Hochstetter? You thought it was Hochstetter? And then she takes her top off, jiggles her boobs and says, do I look like Hochstetter? And you got to tell me, it wasn't funny when the girl said back, I don't know, I've never seen Hochstetter. That was good.
That is funny. I mean, but she's got a point. Maybe he's got boobs.
Well. That's what's crazy. That whole thing, it was just like, and then we cut, boom, Janey and Suzanne, boobs. And then they're just talking naked. And then this is what, again, how does this happen? So Janey is revealing earlier, hey, people got brutally murdered in this house 5 years ago. And then this where Suzanne goes, oh, I remember my dad used to talk about this. Holy shit. Why did you say that?
Yeah. And the way Janey, her boobs, she was talking about, what was she talking about? Like painting the house or something. As her top is hanging off, staring in the mirror, she's having a normal conversation with her friend. Like, there was no reason for it to be hanging down. It was just hanging down, so it's my turn to show my boobs.
Well, it's a perfectly good reason for them to be.
Two perfectly good reasons. I get it.
I looked her up. I was hoping she was in another sequel so I could reach out to her.
Well, I did reach out to the Australian girl or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see.
No, I just think, honestly, in this movie, like, again, this is like the genre, the 80s, like sexploitation, like splatter horror movies. Like, that's what these movies are. But all these people, honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they should have won Oscars. But they were like all good in their roles. You were like, hey, this is like a floozy sorority girl. Janey's like the tough one. And they all played like the perfect.
Well, the girl at the end, to me, was definitely the best actress out of all of them.
Yeah,
I mean, she definitely acted a little bit more than the other ones. You know, I mean, and I didn't expect her to be the one to make it to the end. Like, I was totally off. I figured, I don't know who. Go ahead.
So then they all converge, and then Gail Harris, Linda, the last one to like show her boobs, she's just in the room where they're all gonna hang out. So she doesn't even get her own like boob room. She's just in where the fire's going. There's candles everywhere, and then they walk in just when she puts her top on, and then they're like, "Hey, you wanna sit down?" They pull the Ouija board out, and they're like, "Oh, you guys want some stale beer?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then Jessica's like,
I mean, first of all, she's wearing a see-through nightie kind of thing with all her friends, and then the other one that took the shirt off. I don't remember the names at all, but she took a very small shirt off, only to put another small shirt back on.
Yes. Yes. I think that was I'm trying to think what her name was. I think that was Susie.
So do you think these girls, or just girls in general, is this what when they hang out and have sleepovers, they all just wear underwear and like small shirts? And
well, I'm not going to believe anything else.
I mean, I'm hoping God. I mean, I haven't gone to too many guy slumber parties, but I mean, I wonder, do they walk around in their like jock straps and like underwear and like same way?
Banana hammock and guinea teas. I don't know. But I love just like Jessica's line. They're like, "Do you want the hard stuff?" She's like, "Tequila, you bet." There's just like so many of these lines. Again, they shot this movie in 7 days, And I don't know if that includes like what I mentioned, the writing. I guess you can't include the writing and the casting, but I think some of these scenes that we see, they're probably, all right, that's good. It's like, oh no, I want to try to do that again. They're like, no,
we don't have time.
We're on schedule.
Well, I do think she's definitely an alcoholic because she drinks a lot of tequila in this movie.
She does
a lot, and later on, we're not there yet, but when she drinks that tequila, it's like she's drinking iced tea.
Yes. Well. Oh yeah, and then when Janey is sharing it, it's like
that's what I was talking about.
That's right. Yeah, Janey does have. We'll get into that. So then they're playing a Ouija board, which, man, I hate those. Like, I really hate those things. Like, because I'm scared of them, and in movies, I get freaked out about them because it seems like people, no matter what happened with them in horror movies or any movie, it's just like they like, oh, that can't be it. But when you're playing with it and the plastic eyepiece flies into it's plastic, flies into the fire and explodes, it's not right. That's usually
in the movie, a Ouija board never works out in the positive way. That's first of all.
Of course. Like somebody ever did a Ouija board and they're like, all right, hey, everyth's good.
Everything's great. We're going to have a great... I did laugh at this part, though, when they were spelling Colin. And she goes, colon? Right? Is that...
Yeah, colon, yuck. So she thought when they were calling the spirit, and she didn't spell, like they spelled it COLIN, and she's like, colon, yeah. But I love to put that joke in there. They talked to a spirit named Colin to find Hockstetter.
Well, was Colin? I was wondering if Colin was in the first movie, maybe like that could have been a throwback, but probably not.
No, there's no association with this movie at all. And then Janey brushes the whole thing off. She goes, "It was probably just like an electrical charge or something." That's not science. That doesn't happen. To make
and then they have a tickle fight.
Eyepiece fly into the fire.
Again, clue number 3: you got to get out of the house.
Out. I'm out.
Yeah, and then they have a little tickle fight right afterwards.
They do have a tickle fight. And then they're right away, like, I don't know what time it is, but they're like, fuck it, let's go to bed. And then all the girls are like, oh, Jessica, we're so jealous of you and Eddie. And I'm like, that guy's a douchebag. Like, seriously, like, why? See that sorority? She's getting a boyfriend, right? And then the other girls are like the opposite. They're like, I just want to fill this room up with wall-to-wall men, and we can just pick and choose whichever one we want. I love hearing women talk like that. There's always that double standard. You have a guy hooks up with like 40 girls. It's like, yeah, man, you rock. If a girl hooks up with 40 guys, it's like, ooh, that's gross.
Well, this is the 80s. A little different then.
80s, it was okay.
It was.
It was encouraged.
And then is this the same scene where she gives a massage?
Oh, yeah. This is, yeah. So then we cut to Janey I guess they're closer with each other. I guess Janey and Susie.
Well, until the truth comes out.
Oh my God, dude. The fact that they were giving them massage, that was just like, I guess they both have a rough day. They really didn't move much in because the movies were coming. But, it was very stressful with the house.
Well, I mean, this has got to be pretty late at night, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It must be because they got there when it was light out, but they really didn't do much. How long is a nude shower take?
Wait, how long does a nude shower take? You mean compared to like a clothes shower?
Wait, you shower naked?
Wait, you don't have a laundry? You don't have a washing machine? So you just you shower with your clothes on and then you wash it and you're done?
That is true, yeah. And then I stand outside for like 7 hours? I
must be doing it wrong all this time.
Maybe erotic shower is better word. So how long does all that take? Because they were like at the same time they were showing their boobs, like not for us, but at the same time.
Well, it was a trickle down. So like, they didn't show the boobs all the same moment. It was definitely different times. So, you know what? I'm thinking like it's got to be at least midnight, right? At least, no?
Yeah, no. I guess it has to be. I don't know.
Well, my concern is the electrician's coming in a couple hours.
Yeah,
at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's.
Oh, that's why they went to bed. They were like, "Oh yeah, so it must have been late," because that's what they said. They're like, "Hey, let's go to bed because the movers are coming and the electrician's coming." Oh my God, that's unbelievable. So yeah, you're mentioning it. So Susie is massaging Janey, and then Susie slips and says, "Oh, I learned this trick from Billy McGuire." And Janey's like, "Billy, I thought you were seeing Chad." And she's like, "Oh no, me and Chad are done seeing each other. But so now I'm with Billy now." And she's like, "Well, I'm with Billy." She's like, "But you guys aren't dating, right?" And then she like storms off.
How do they not know that? They're sorority sisters. The way for her to ask, say that.
I think Susie's probably, I would guess she's the slut of the group.
So you think Susie's a floozy?
Susie is the and the fact that she wouldn't even, because earlier when they talked about it, because it wasn't like a big scene, but Jessica goes outside and is talking to Susie, and she's like, "I've been seeing Billy McGuire," and she's like, "Oh, Janey's with Billy McGuire," and she's like, "But they're not like together," and she's like, "You shouldn't tell her. How do you slip like that?"
Was Susie the tough one? Like acted tough? Like kind of like she's a short one, right? She's short, kind of acted like
she's the one that massaged, redhead.
Yeah, I thought she was gay. Like she seemed like very tough, like manly. Like I didn't get her to be like the floozy, but apparently she was.
She was. Well, Billy McGuire knows.
That is true.
You're listening? How dare you?
Billy could be a girl.
Oh, that is true.
I mean, based on what's going on in this house, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So then Janey's like, "Screw this." She grabs that bottle of tequila that looks like iced tea.
That happened to be just sitting right on the banister. Right. And the scene went on for a while for her drinking it. Like she would take a big slug and then put it down, then take another big sip, put it down. Like this went on, like she did it like 5 times, with nothing else going on.
Yeah, so I know obviously we know that it's a horror movie, like it's something's gonna happen. But dude, I love this first like kill because it was pretty cool. I don't know. I really expected like really corny, like ones that don't really like, not like it showed too much, but it was cool seeing that side angle of her and then getting ripped over the counter and then the camera flipped and you see her flying over the back. And then at that point, you're like, who's doing this?
Well, I do like the blood splatters that keep happening. Like someone standing off screen just throwing the paint against the wall.
No, I didn't. I was gonna take a picture of it. Maybe I'll add it into a clip if we.
What, seeing someone in the background?
No, in the bottom right of that scene, I have a mark.
In the attic.
No, I'm talking about that one when Janey gets killed in the kitchen, and you see the blood squirt. You could see like in the bottom of the camera, like a little tube where everything's like getting pumped from.
Because you could see another one. I thought I saw something in the attic. And the attic one too. So it's probably in every. We go back and watch it again, you probably see it in every scene.
I might watch it again. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeesh.
Maybe I'll watch it again. Honey, you sleeping?
You probably know exactly which scenes to just fast forward to. So you have like the 10-minute mark, the 14 point, 30, you know exactly where. You're not watching a whole movie.
Well, not for nothing. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. So I can get through all of it. But again, our favorite we could share. She's gone. She's the first one gone. So you have 4 babes left.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed at that one.
Yeah, but it had to happen. But then Susie, she feels bad about it. Obviously, Billy McGuire, man. Is Billy worth it? I don't know. Maybe he is. He has a charming smile, but who cares? So she grabs a gigantic flashlight. Then she goes looking for her. Then we see again that shadowy figure just like creeping around the outside of the house. Which we'll talk about that later because that's kind of confusing now. But then Susie finds that bottle shattered all over the ground, which I guess that could have ended up there.
But in that part, she's picking up like a couple pieces of glass at a time and just like looking at it, like studying it. Like when that bottle that was broken, she takes one piece up, she's looking at it, she puts it down, she does it about 3 times and then like leaves yeah. I didn't know what she was doing. Again, maybe filler. Maybe like, listen, you're gonna look at this bottle, but don't leave too quick. You got to give us, we got to get like at least 30 seconds out of this.
You know what would have made me like laugh my ass off if she did that, picked it up 3 times, like she's like, this is broken glass. But then from there, she finds out, she runs upstairs and then tells all the girls, like, oh my God, Janey's missing. Where is she? Again, this house is pretty big. Like, usually sometimes you watch movies and you see the house from the outside. And then when they're showing the rooms, you're like, this can't be the same house. This house is like super monstrous.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. So then they start hunting around the house. And the killer, whoever they may be, cleaned up pretty good, right? Nothing left there. No blood. That was pretty.
No footsteps. Nothing. Yeah, I mean that. How much time happened between the first kill and like going back to the kitchen?
I don't know because she ran upstairs to tell the girls. They screamed. So it was a couple minutes. So again, we'll talk about this later because now I'm really confused about it, like how that could have happened. But
I mean, I get blood in like on a shirt. I can't get it out.
How you
what?
What are you doing? Are you
shaving? Or what? Are you saying like killing?
The missing joggers in the park?
All right, whatever. I'm just saying, blood is not easy to get out. And there was a huge splatter.
Except if you use Tide. Tide, if you're listening, hook us up with a bottle or some Tide Pods.
Was Tide around in 1980?
I would hope so. Yeah.
All the killers are using it.
That'd be a great commercial. Like Jason and Michael Myers and all them. And Freddy. Blood on my green spots on my sweater. That'd be amazing, honestly. Meanwhile, so Susie goes up to they're all in pairs. They go upstairs. Susie and Jessica go upstairs in the attic, and she's like, Jessica, go downstairs. I'll look around all by myself.
There's a lot of splitting up in this movie for no reason.
Always. Like, why don't you stay in a big group?
Well, the one part they do hang out together for a little bit, but I mean, later on. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, as a guy, I would not want to go. Even now as an adult, I don't like going to the basement with turn the lights off. You always got to run back upstairs. So, let alone being in a house with a where a murder was. Yeah.
Always. And it's funny that what we said in the beginning, that thing I read that across the streets of people under the stairs house, growing up at my parents' house, there was slats on the one wall and there was like a little like hideaway behind it. And there was like gaps and it reminded me of people under the stairs. The guy's eyeballs would be like put it on. Ugh. But yeah, so this, again, a total fear of mine, like walking in the woods, because you never know. Like I go hiking a lot.
Yeah.
Like bear traps. Dude, when she steps in that bear trap, again, it could have just been blood thrown on it, not even too much makeup. Just the thought of it.
Oh.
And, ugh.
Yeah, no, that to me, the bear trap, anytime you see it in a movie, is always such a cringy kind of thing.
How about this? What if Bouchard set that bear trap?
It's possible. It's
Yeah, she could have screamed. Did anybody hear? I guess obviously not. And then she gets ripped away. You see the hook again. I love the weapon of choice. It just reminds me of, later. I know you did last summer. Maybe another movie did that. I think that's such a cool weapon in horror. I think
it is, but I don't know how much damage. I mean, like it's not like it's on a pole. Like it's loose right in your hand. So if you're trying to I don't know if it's going to be as damaging as it makes it look.
No, it's really not. You got to think it's almost like Captain Hook. If I'm fighting Captain Hook, he punches me with it. It's just gonna be like a punch.
Yeah, but Captain Hook, I'm assuming he has it screwed into his arm.
Yeah.
Here you're holding it like loose, like a pencil.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no pressure behind it. So, not that I know from experience. I'm just saying there's no pressure behind it. So,
No, I'm just saying you'd have to almost like swing and pull.
Right.
Like you couldn't just like stab like a normal weapon. Yeah. So maybe it's not the smartest.
And even that, even if you swing and pull, I don't know how real, how strong you're going to be. If it's not screwed onto something, it's going to be flimsy in your hand. I don't know. It's a bad choice.
Maybe we'll just like pull like a thread on your shirt and you'll be like, ow, come on. But yeah, so then she gets hooked. She's gone. So here's my favorite part of the movie. I'm so excited we get started about this. So when they go to the strip club, so who did that? So the stripper that was on stage when we first saw it, who did that look like to you? First look. Did you have anybody in mind? All right. No. Paula Abdul. She looked just like Paula Abdul, and I was like, dude, go back and watch it. I'm not even kidding. She looked just like her.
Wait, the one that survived the first movie?
Yeah.
Supposedly?
Yeah.
Paula Abdul?
Paula Abdul, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, check it out. So she has all the tassels, shaking it up. And how about the Saudi men?
Oh, by the way, she is a good dancer.
Oh, she was great.
So, yeah. I'm talking about Paula Abdul.
Yeah. Oh, not the girl? So then you had those Saudi men that were clearly white guys.
It looks so ridiculous, and really pointless, but it's almost like they all right, we got to have a bunch of different people in this scene. What costumes do they have left over from Slumber Party? Whatever. And that's what they just put something together because it would clearly, it looked like Borat, the guy that does dresses up. He looked like, those guys. So ridiculous.
It was Saudi men and bikers. And
biker gang.
Yep. The Saudi men say, take it on, baby. So the cops show up. It's blocking.
Oh, there's also an old mafia guy there too.
Oh yes, there is. Yeah, I love it. Like you said, just whatever costumes were sitting in wardrobe.
Because you think about it, they had the three of those together makes no sense. You had the sheiks, the mafia guy, and the bikers. There's no common ground for any of them. It's almost like a Leslie Nielsen movie, like an airplane. You would see that's who you would see in an airplane. If Airplane had a stripper scene, you're going to see those people in there.
Or in another sense, this is like what the fabric of America is. All men of different walks of life will come together for magic boobs on tassels. And how about when she shows her boobs and one of the bikers flies off his chair? He just flies back there's magic or a force when she opens up her boobs.
Or maybe that was the first time he was at a strip bar. Maybe he didn't know what to expect.
That was his initiation into the biker gang. You're gonna see some boobs, man. Boobs? I've never seen boobs. What happens when you see boobs? Don't worry, man. You'll be cool. Whoa! He just flies back. It's hilarious. I was dying. And then the best line of the whole movie, comedy-wise, is the DJ, which I had to put behind me if you're watching this on video. The house DJ says, "Now, gentlemen, take your hands out of your pockets and do something constructive. Let's have another round of applause for Candy. Ooh, ain't she sweet?" And then honestly, when they walked in, they said, "Oh, we have to talk to a survivor of the Hochstetter to see maybe if she knew something about Orville, the neighbor." So I didn't think it was going to be her. I thought it was just hey, they walk in, that girl's on stage.
Yep.
Whoever, because the other girl, they had even better lines for her. Because the guy goes, he goes, some of her credits are Gentleman's Companion magazine and the movie Strip to Kill, Part 7. and more boobs. I thought our boobs are done. Back to back.
No, it's funny. I wrote that down too. The stripper and the strip bar, Strip to Kill Part 7.
Yeah, and her name was Satana McVixen. Yep. So then Candy started talking to the cops, and I do love Shawley, the cop, the female cop. It's like disgusting. She even says about the DJ. She goes, "Do you think I can arrest him?" And he's like, "What for?" Being a total creep.
Yeah, she's angry throughout the whole movie. This line of questioning though made me laugh because he asks her multiple times about the neighbor, and like at least 3 or 4 times. And then the last time she goes, "Now that you mentioned it," and then
no, they say like you said, he asked the same thing 3 times. But it's kind of like the Austin Powers, maybe like the 3 times. But he says, "Now think hard." And then she just goes, "Now you mention it, we did see Ketchum lurking around, but he always did that." So really, what she remembered is what she already told him, because she said that at the end. I was like, "Oh, is she gonna like reveal something?"
Yeah.
Like nothing at all. So that was it. And then this is what I talked about earlier. Block says he's so worried. Then why the freak just go to the house yesterday? Why are you just worried?
This whole we don't know why he was called or how he was called. And then wouldn't if they called about an issue at the house, wouldn't that be the first stop you go to?
And even better, when somebody buys a friggin' house, it doesn't happen in an afternoon.
Right.
So wouldn't there be paperwork and stuff? Wouldn't the guy have called him like a week ago? Hey, these really hot girls that probably want to shower nude together, they're gonna think about buying this house. And then he has 7 days to look into it, not wait until they move in. That makes, oh man, I found a hole. So then we go back to the house. We have 3 girls left. And again, somebody peeping back into the windows the whole time. And then they think they have to go. Why go downstairs?
Well, this scene cracked me up when they were walking up the stairs, and you see the camera view of all 3 from the bottom, looking at all 3 of them from legs and ass up. It was like, again, so unnecessary, but so necessary. But it was just so funny. The view of that, it was just like it got ridiculous, so obvious.
So one thing about this movie, like we talked about, like the lines and like they knew what they were making when they were making this. But you know who's really good? The guy Chuck Serino. He does the music for all of Jim Wynorski's movies. The music, really, you felt like you were watching like, an 80s horror movie,
The music reminded me of like the CDs, the Halloween CDs that have all like the Halloween music and like sound effects. Like that's the music sounded like that. It was like it was. I actually wrote that down at the beginning of the movie, like just from the beginning of the credits. It was just like funny, corny, but Halloween spooky music. It was just like it was very fitting.
Yeah, no, everything fit with the scenes. It was great. And so how about Linda again? She's like so scared to be in that basement anyway. She looks at the girls. They barely even look around in the basement. She goes, "Satisfied? Let's go." And then she looks up because she's getting dripping water on her. And then the killer, strung them up on the basement ceiling just for them to bleed.
That's pretty impressive for the killer to be able to do that. Because I'm assuming a dead body is heavy. You always see people dragging them to be able to lift them.
So earlier you talked about blood on your shirt, and now you're saying dead bodies are heavy?
I'm just saying, from not experience, just from what I've heard.
Somebody who likes cold cases is learning a lot about you right now. Oh, there was no ladder in that. There could have been a ladder.
Oh, the basement was so packed with stuff, like it was ridiculous. It really, it would be great if you saw like a camera, like a movie camera in the basement, like some like the actual props behind the scenes.
Yeah. So then they run upstairs and they think to call the cops. Again, the phone's still out. Why would they try it? I guess they were like, "Oh, maybe it'll be back on." So they run outside. They say, "Screw the rain," and then for one split second, they worry about their clothes. Who cares if somebody's getting murdered in the house? They're like, got all of our clothes are upstairs. What are we gonna do?
Well, they are half naked. I mean, they don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, the one standing out there in the rain with a wet t-shirt for how long? Like literally, like they stood out there only until her shirt was completely wet. Like it was like that was the scene. Like he's slowly walking over there when they see the neighbor, which was the slowest walk ever. And they didn't run away. They waited for her to be soaking wet, and then they went inside.
Yeah. I love Jessica when she's like, I'm gonna grab a knife. And they're like, what are you gonna do? Why are you gonna grab a knife? And she's like, I don't know, it'll make me feel better. And then how comical is that? Because she only had one. And then when they open the door and they see Orville, she has 3 knives in one hand.
Who's Jessica, the tall one?
Melissa Moore.
Okay.
The tall one.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, they kind of like when she was talking about it, she was standing by the window with like the lightning going, like, you know, first of all, I thought she was gonna get it. I thought she was gonna get like the killer was gonna come to the window or something like that. But she was standing right there, you know, but that didn't happen.
No, I thought we were gonna get one of those. Like I really thought we were gonna get a good, because there were so many times he was lurking by the window. So you like,
but she was like, they kept zooming in on her, and she was standing by that window with the rain, the lightning, and like, I thought something was gonna happen.
Yeah, and then they think, hey, what should we do now? This guy's outside. Let's sit in a circle, holding knives. So if somebody did come in, you'd have to get up anyway. Why not stand in a circle? Maybe like where they used to fight like the olden times with swords. But no, let's all sit in a circle.
Here I have a problem with the creepy neighbor. So we don't, you know, they think he's the murderer. We don't know what's going on. Why isn't he talking?
Well, he does have some kind of issue with talking.
Well, we're breathing. He has an issue with breathing because he's breathing very heavy every time he's walking up the stairs.
So maybe he's still trying to catch his breath from that brisk walk from across the street. But yeah, wouldn't he like yell something? But we don't know. Maybe
we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
But yeah, and then somebody's knocking on the window trying to get in. And then the chain lock alone is stopping them. So they're not able to get in because of the chain lock. And so I do love this because, you know, again, they shot this in 7 days. I love that they are saying everything that's happening outside. They probably just didn't want to shoot it, or they didn't have that footage from Slumber House Massacre. They're like, sounds like they're climbing the drain pipe. They're like, Kimberly, tell me you closed all the windows. And she's like, I don't know. I was scared. And then this is where I first thought, I was like, I don't think Orville Ketchum is climbing that drain pipe.
What you don't think that guy could climb a tree?
No, well, maybe a tree because he's like a big bear, but I don't know about a drain pipe. And then this is where I thought wheels were turning. I'm like, Eddie, why did we meet Eddie? Right? Like, what was really the purpose of meeting Eddie? So I was like, dude, Eddie's the one.
I totally forgot about Eddie this entire movie. I really did. Once he drove off, I totally forgot he was even in the picture. So at this point, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think it was the creepy neighbor, but I just didn't know. Like, I wasn't too sure what was going on right. Yeah.
So then they finally get all the way up in the attic. They notice like the windows open, and again, I think this is pretty cool. You know, for like a horror movie, looking down, they see like a wet footprint, and then like that bugs Kimberly out. She runs right down the stairs. Which why would that be their first thing? Why would you run away?
Wait, so this made me think. So there's a wet footprint, which means the killer's wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into this. No, there's like a few of them that we'll go back to in a little bit.
All right.
So anyway, she runs down the stairs, and Jessica follows behind her. And Orville, he's waiting there, right at the thing. He's in the house, and he's like,
and not saying anything.
I know, not at all.
I mean, he could have saved a lot of trouble if he just said.
I know, and So then, dude, and then there's candles lit all over the bathroom, and Kimberly's just sitting there, and then we get a person that's punching through the door wearing a black cloak. It's like a black cloak. It almost looks like in I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that fisherman's kind of Gordon the fisherman, black cloak, punching through the flannel. and killing Kimberly. So this is where I'm like, all right, this can't be what we're thinking, you know? Like what's happening right now?
Right. And now, so there's only 2 left now, right?
2 are left, yeah.
Okay. And Orville.
And Orville, yeah. So an Orville,
And it's again, you know what? Honestly, I haven't even thought about who the killer was. Well, the movie was just so like in my face. I was like, I wasn't even paying attention. Like, I wasn't even thinking, like, in most like murder mysteries, whatever. I'm like, all right, it's got to be this guy. I honestly was not even thinking like who the killer was. I was just like watching the movie.
are you saying, so you were really just putting yourself in the killer's shoes?
Again, I'm just saying, you know, if I was, you know, like OJ wrote the book, you know, if I did do it, so,
I would have thrown that glove at
you know. All right, moving on.
So then Linda comes down the stairs and she's like looking for everybody. Kimberly, Jessica, come out now. Then she finds that bloody bathroom, and then boom, one last time, we get to see, you know, boobs, and then she goes right back in the tub. I kind of skipped over it. So this is where Linda is in the attic. Orville's just looking around, not saying anything, and Linda just pops out of nowhere, stabs him in the chest.
This is where I again, to me, she just turned, like, she became a badass, and like, you know, the way this whole like end scene or getting closer, like, she was awesome. Like, she really, like, to me, again, the acting wasn't great in this movie, but I think she did a very good job of what she was doing. Like, you know, she turned it around. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you get that, and it was like, again, we're thinking this whole time, which I'm not going to reveal yet, but like, it was like, holy shit, this guy who's the creepy guy that's staring at them, maybe peeping in the windows. She stabs him in the chest. He like goes back against the thing, and why, you know, he fought back, and then he gets like, and then he just like passed out on the ground, knife in his chest, and then you expected it because killers never die the first time. Well, this guy, his eyes open up, and then within seconds she grabs a chain that's just sitting there and
does the Jabba the Hutt Princess Leia choke.
Yes.
When I first saw this, I've been like, this is Jabba the Hutt. I mean, like, you know, I'm not saying he's big. I'm just saying the way she does it, she looks like she's pulling the way Princess Leia did it. It's like 100%.
Oh, totally. Yeah, there it is. Yes. So that happens, and then when after Linda goes to the bathroom to discover Kimberly's dead body in the tub, Orville flies into the bathroom, and then she kills him again. He has the chain around his neck. He has a death swirly.
So I was going to say, got the swirly.
Wow. He died 3 times, sort of.
Well, more than that.
Well, no, I know. I know. So then Linda goes downstairs. She finds the Ouija board propped up. The phone rings.
The phone's ringing.
So how does the phone work like that? This is his wife. Put Clive on the phone. Whoa. So it's Hochstetter's wife, dead wife, calling from the Ouija board?
This movie became like, again, I guess they needed to try to find some kind of conclusion. So they had to like bind it all together, because now it's like just getting all over the place.
Oh, yeah. And then we hear like a sound coming from the basement. It sounds like Jessica. And she's like, quicker, come quicker.
Oh, no, yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't sound like her. Like, it so does not sound like her.
Oh, no, no, you're right. But it's like this really low whisper. So
right. Yeah. So why would you keep going to that? Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah, she just murdered a guy, and so our friend's all dead. So maybe she was like kind of freaked out. But then she goes, I got Ketchum, Jessica. It's safe now. And then, oh my God, dude, I was blown away when Jessica, Melissa Moore, is talking, and it's not her talking. It's Hochstetter. And like, again, not wearing the black cloak. So
yep.
I don't understand that.
Was she wearing shoes?
I don't know if she was wearing shoes. So now that we revealed it's her, that she's the killer, she's possessed by Hochstetter, all from the Ouija board game, because they called out that. Anyway, so okay, who was looking in the windows? One.
Well, I'm gonna say without a doubt, it's definitely the creepy neighbor.
So you think it was Ketchum the whole time?
I think Ketchum is just a peeper. So I think, he had nothing to do with the killing. So I think they try to make it look like it was the killer doing both. I just think Ketchum was creeping the whole time.
Oh, maybe he was. Yeah, maybe. And then he's
a peeper. So the killer and him had nothing to do with it. Like they're two separate people. So I think there's a peeper and there's a killer.
Okay. So how did Jessica, I guess all of her friends fell asleep in that room when they were talking about the wall-to-wall men, and she was able to sneak out to get into the kitchen to kill Janey?
Well, she's also the tallest one. So for her, like, she's the biggest one. So she's the more believable to carry them up to the ceiling and hang them.
That is true.
I mean, it's definitely, if you said it was the short girl, then I would, it's less believable, but she's tall. So,
So now I mentioned a little bit before, but how great of the writing of the line earlier when she goes, "Oh, I thought you were Hochstetter," and she pulls her top down. She goes, "Hochstetter," and then she turned out to be That was great.
That's funny.
Yeah. So then again, they have like a little bit of a fight, like back and forth. And you did notice now, like when that was revealed, you did go back, like when she was grabbing the knives, she was acting like a little weird,
Or again, when that scene when she was in the attic and she was standing by the window, like you could see her face, like she was again definitely acting weird.
100%.
Signs were there, we just didn't see it.
Yeah, totally. And then when she goes, "Linda, please call me Clive," I'm like, oh my god, dude. And then they fight, and honestly, for some of these movies that we covered, there are like, and I'm sure they did all these. It's not like it's super intense, like the end of like Escape Plan 3. It's not like it was that, but they were like fighting, and then they did the classic WWF like double knockout when they ran into each other. Oh my god.
No, the Australian girl or whatever, she was awesome. She took on everybody. She was pretty tough.
I love when she was sitting there because they were both knocked out. So Linda got up and she was able to crawl in the other room. But I thought it was super creepy. It was like Freddy-esque with the finger blades on the boiler. When she like just starts dragging that hook on the wall, I'm like, holy shit. And then now we're at the beginning of the movie. She's like, you gotta remember. And then Clive, Clive was not only a murderer of his family, he was also a creeper, because his line goes, "If I were in a man's body right now, we could have a little fun." Wow. That's insane. Like,
yeah.
And then
why can't he have fun in a women's body?
That is true.
I mean,
what would be the first thing?
Take advantage of it while you could.
See, that would have been a funny line, right? If he was like, "Hey, I never had one of these before," and he starts squeezing his boobs, right? Wouldn't that be the first thing?
Well, they've done things like that, like in 18 Again, or like the like Father Like Son, like like I think it was 18 Again or Freaky Friday or one of those when the kid became a mom and she had boobs all of a sudden or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not a man. Like having boobs for the first time. What do you do?
Doesn't Tom Hanks look down his underwear when he gets bigger and big?
Oh, I think he does, right?
He does.
So then we get Ketchum still alive, appears in the doorway, and he says, "Hi, neighbor." I'm like, oh my god.
What was their like reasoning behind not being able to kill this guy?
He just wanted him to not die. Jim Wynorski wrote it. He goes, "I just want him not to die," like for the comedy of it. So
it is funny. It is. It's just
I love every second of it. I love that he pulls the knife from his own stomach, stabs Jessica in the throat, and it's almost like I wonder. Okay, so we go from it being a spirit possessed in a body, like in like a Ouija board. It's been done in total movies. Then it's like the movie Fallen-ish, the way it goes from the one body to the other.
Well, that's probably how it happens. I mean, if you're going to kill it's like Chucky, right? Is it in a way? Like, so if you're going to kill the host, it's got to go somewhere else, because you're not killing the spirit, you're killing the host.
No, that is true. And there's a movie that we covered that I remember talking about, Fallen. What movie was that? A body transfer movie that we covered?
Oh, Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
So it was like, so the fact that Jessica's neck is getting sliced again by Linda, and she goes, Linda? So she's normal again. And then right, isn't that where we see Linda like fall into the corner? And that's
Yes. She falls into like these boxes or whatever. And then that's when the cops come.
yeah, so we cut to the morning and the cops walk in, find Ketchum dead, Jessica with a knife.
Well, was he dead? No, he opened his eyes. Doesn't he open his eyes again?
Well, he does in like a second. But one of my favorite things are like these random lines. How about the mover? He goes, I got here at 5:30. So this asshole, no matter what, they were scheduled to be there at 6. I know people want to move in, but dude, you're gonna come that much earlier, so they're waking up. They're just like,
does it really make a difference if it's 6 a.m.? I think 5:30 is really not gonna be that much of a difference.
By the way, he goes, I found him like this. I didn't touch anything, I swear. And then he's like, I'm gonna vomit. He runs out of the room. But then Linda pops out of the corner, comes newspapers again, whatever was left on set from Slumber Party Massacre. But yeah, hits the boxes and she's just standing there looking kind of weird. And then boom, Ketchum pops up and grabs the cop. This cop sucks. And he's able to let this freaking guy that's half dead probably grab the gun and shoot her up.
I have to be honest, the way she looked at the end of the movie, she looked a little grotesque. Like she didn't look, she looked a little different. She didn't look the same. She looked possessed, obviously, but they made her look ugly. Like I was a little, she looked good the whole movie, but
what a way to go. So then the fact again that I know the cop had the hunch that it was really Ketchum that did it, but obviously we know it's not. But the fact that the cops, he didn't even have the gun in his hand anymore, right?
No.
When he got popped with they unloaded like 17 shotgun, shells into him. So you're like, holy shit, dude, what a way to go. This guy's like sort of saving the day, and then he gets like blown away.
Does he open his eyes again or no?
Yes. So again, all right. So then they go, so Block, again, he's not a good actor. He puts his fingers on his neck. He goes, get an ambulance. This man's alive. So then I love, it says the end. And then a question mark comes in.
Yep.
When his eyes are open.
Was I'm assuming he wasn't in the third movie.
Okay. So did you watch after the credits?
I did. So
you did?
I saw the part with when he was in the hospital. And was that the dancer with him from the first movie?
That was Paul Abdul, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't understand. Like, I mean, I don't know what they were doing. Like, why were they together? Like, I didn't understand that.
I don't know. Maybe
it made no sense whatsoever.
How did he get a girl? Maybe because she felt guilty for accusing him of doing the murders. Maybe.
All right, you're getting too
Good
deep.
for him. But how'd you like in the credits when it said all the people's names and it said Orville Ketchum as himself?
Yeah. It's so stupid.
I want that shirt.
But they made a third one, right? Something like that.
The third one, I don't know. It's supposed to be almost the same script, but in a high-rise building. It's called Hard to Die. So it's like Die Hard. Most of the same girls, I think 3 out of the 5 girls came back. Definitely
really?
Linda, definitely Jessica.
Playing different roles, though, or?
Probably whatever popular name was. I think they filmed it like in a few months after this. So it's just in a high-rise. Just lots of guns and stuff they find. Yeah. People like that one. Was
Ketchum in it or no?
Yeah, he's the best.
Oh, that's all. Oh.
Or is he? I don't know. But
that's awesome.
Again, after credit scenes were obviously like they're so popular now. They were like so rare back in the day. But I love that you have this newscaster talking about this guy that's accused of murder, but he's like, the cops couldn't accumulate enough evidence against him, so he's free to go. And he goes, good luck, Orville. I'm like, wait, would you like say good? Like, did somebody on the news go, good luck, OJ?
Like talk personally to them. Like it just so dumb.
Oh my God. So that was Sorority House Massacre II. So I had so much fun to talk about this movie. What would you tell somebody to check it out? It's free on YouTube. Why not?
You know what? I mean, just because if you, it's such a, I mean, listen, it's not a good movie. It's entertaining just for the purpose of it making fun of itself. Listen, if you, I would say if you got a couple of buddies over, you're drinking beers, you want to laugh at a stupid movie, watch it. I don't know if like sitting down with your wife, it's a good, husband and wife movie. But listen, I've never seen anything like it. I've never gotten into the slasher 80s movies like this. And this is going on the list of like, I think 5 movies we've done that are just so weird. Like I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. And one thing I really do appreciate, like some weird movies that we watched, you're like, pause. Oh my God, I'm only here. This movie really moved. Again, it's a short movie. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I think it's like an hour and 11, like without the full end credit part, but it moved. Like it was.
Well, I think the purpose of spreading out the boobs also helps. So, if you put them all at once, like, one big shower scene, then it's going to be, the movie's going to drag. But if you spread it out a little bit, it doesn't seem as long.
They teach that at NYU in film school. But yeah, so no, I definitely, why not watch it? It's enjoyable. There's fun lines in it. Like there's some people that you don't even, so like the DJ, those lines, like talking about like the part 7 of that movie.
It's such a different kind of movie. I mean, it's silly, it's definitely worth watching, it's something of, I don't know if I could watch all 3 of them. I think I'm happy I watched this one, but I don't know if I can watch other ones.
Oh no! If we get Gail Harris, who played Linda, we got to do Hard to Die.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So that was Sorority House Massacre II. Next movie sequel, and believe it or not, they made another film after Munchie, and it's Munchie Strikes Back. And I made my buddy Nick, who reviewed Munchie, have to do this again. He even emailed me like a few months back, even though after I interviewed director and writer Jim Wynorski, he was like, "Oh, you guys should do like a John Wick sequel. I'll do one of those." I'm like, "Yeah, but first you got to do this." And I just sent him a YouTube link, and it was for the trailer to Munchie. Oh, again, it's free on YouTube, which is great. And Jim Wynorski, like the guy's credits are amazing. The first big movie he wrote was Screwballs. Directed Choppy Mall, Return of the Swamp Thing, Ghoulies 4, and a ton of Skinamax movies that people will probably never admit they watch, but like the Bear Wench Project, Busty Cops, Hills Have Thighs. But man, so we get Munchie Strikes Back. And one thing I'm going to mention to you, Jamie, because I'm sure you didn't watch a lot about it. So it's Leslie and Dawn. Don Fauntleroy's wife is the mom in this. And the voice is not Dom DeLuise. It's Howard Hessman from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm thoroughly excited for that.
So you haven't seen it yet?
I have not. I just watched the beginning scene, and it's not, I don't even know. To watch the beginning scene of a movie and you feel like you're in the middle of it, that's what I'm ready for.
Does it show any kind of like continuation of the second movie?
I'm gonna guess just giving Jim Wynorski. No, I'm gonna guess it doesn't open up with Munchie flying a commercial airplane that they stole.
That'd be great.
So, don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.